Hey, different setting, am I right? Over at my aunt's house for Christmas, but now's not time to talk about that because today I'm gonna be breaking down a Las Vegas Raiders wish list for Christmas. A Raiders Christmas wish list. Um, and I think this Raiders Christmas wish list is a pretty easy one. Probably, I would imagine this is a pretty easy Raiders wish list. I mean, let's just be totally honest with ourselves, man. This is a pretty easy Raiders wish list, man. This one is pretty simple, pretty easy. And, yeah, man. But the first Raiders, wish list thing that I want to talk about right now, man, is, first one I want to talk about is, quarterback. Trying to get a quarterback, because obviously, if you guys don't know already, the Raiders quarterback position is very fucked, to say the least, bro. You know what I'm saying? And this season has been a very bad season for the Raiders. Probably one of the worst seasons we've had since 2014 or 2008. Whatever season's worse. Which one do you think? 2014 towards the 2014 or 2008? I don't know which season I would say is worse. Probably 2008, because we ended up drafting Jamarcus Russell the past year, and that's a very tough one to beat. Jamarcus Russell will probably go down in history as one of the worst Raiders quarterbacks in franchise history. So that season's probably a very tough one to beat, but I don't know. It's a very tough one to say. But anyways, the Raiders wish list now. Number one, trying to find a franchise quarterback. That's number one on the list of the Raiders wish list. There's three things on the Raiders wish list. Number one, trying to find a franchise quarterback. You could arguably say there's more. I feel like there's probably more than just three things, but since it's Christmas and since I want to get a video out for y'all, I'm just going to say three things. But the first one is trying to find a franchise quarterback. But it's been a struggle ever since Derek Carr left, or probably, and arguably, you could even argue even before Derek Carr started. And you could arguably say ever since Rich Gannon, you could arguably say Derek Carr and Rich Gannon are probably two of the best Raiders quarterbacks to ever play in franchise history, probably, I would imagine. Like, two of the best Raiders quarterbacks ever. The Raiders have, their whole franchise history, they just have had a struggle trying to find a franchise quarterback. And they always say, man, you are not going to win, and I believe this statement too, you are not going to win the NFL if you do not have a franchise quarterback. And the Raiders just continue to prove that right more and 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 more. Like I said, bro, you're not going to win the NFL if you do not have a franchise quarterback, bro. Like, it's just not going to happen, bro. It's just not, you know? It is not going to happen. If you do not have a franchise quarterback in the NFL, you will not win football games. And you're not going to win nothing. You're not going to win a Super Bowl. You're not going to win playoff games. You're not going to do anything in your franchise if you don't have a quarterback. There's been a couple rare instances where NFL teams have gotten away with winning Super Bowls without a franchise quarterback. A very good example of that is the 2017 Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles won the Super Bowl that year with Nick Foles. Who? Nick Foles, bro. Nick Foles is a nobody. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be rude to anybody, bro, and anybody who's a Nick Foles fan. I'm not trying to be rude to anybody, but I'm just going to be totally honest, bro. Nick Foles is a nobody, bro. Nick Foles is a nobody. He's just as much as a nobody as Gardner Minshew, Desmond Ridder, or Aiden O'Connell. But, yeah, man, it's bad. But that's probably a very good example. Another one I think happened, like, I want to say, like, 2000, like, in the early 2000s or mid-2000s, is when another team won a Super Bowl with a with a very mediocre, not really so good quarterback. But I would say that's probably another one of the last times that has happened. So, yeah, man. But so that's number one on the Raiders wish list, trying to find a franchise quarterback. And how can the Raiders do that? Well, I'm going to tell you right now. Number one, lose out these last 2 games of the season, because obviously the Raiders had a very pointless and worthless win last week up against the Jaguars. So lose these last 2 games of the season, get probably the number 3 overall pick, and just hope and pray that the Giants don't draft Shador or Cam Ward. Well, I mean, they're probably going to draft one of them. And then whoever's up next, which will probably be the Jaguars. I'd imagine the Jaguars are probably going to be the number 2 overall pick, because the Jaguars are... I feel like a lot of people really don't know how bad of a football team Jacksonville is, because unfortunately, when you have Aiden O'Connell and over Desmond Ridder, Aiden O'Connell's just a little bit better than Desmond Ridder. He's just a little bit better than Desmond Ridder, a little bit better than Gardner Minshew. And you have a quarterback like Aiden O'Connell, who's not great, but he's a little bit better than them. And you have a Jacksonville football team that turns the ball over. Unfortunately, you are going to win a football game like that. Unfortunately, it's unfortunate, but that's how it goes, man. When you have a football team as bad as the Jacksonville Jaguars who turn the ball over, and then you have a Raiders team who's also bad, but you have Aiden O'Connell, Brock Bowers, and the Raiders coming out slinging the football with AOC, then you're probably going to end up winning a football game like that. And the Raiders keep control of the football while Jacksonville turns the ball over 2 times, while they put the ball on the ground twice. Then the Raiders are probably going to win a football game like that. Unfortunately, I mean, yeah, it is unfortunate. I don't know how why I'm saying it's unfortunate, because the Raiders need draft capital, man. They need draft capital, man. But hey, man, I don't know, bro. I don't fucking know, bro. But number 2. Oh yeah, I forgot. I was gonna keep on telling you how to get a franchise quarterback. Either or no. I think I pretty much explained everything to get a franchise quarterback. All right, number 2 on the Raiders wish list, Christmas wish list, is, unfortunately, one of these wishes have already passed. On a Raiders wish list, you hope that the Chiefs lose. But unfortunately, they did not today. They absolutely dominated the Pittsburgh Steelers. They completely destroyed them and crushed them on every aspect of the game. They completely destroyed the Steelers today. But unfortunately, as a Raiders fan, here's the thing. I really hate the Steelers and the Chiefs. But I really hate both teams. I can't stand both teams. But if I could pick a team who I hate more, it would probably be the Chiefs. So I was kind of wanting the Steelers to win. And they didn't. They got completely destroyed. And that just further proves my point as the Steelers being frauds. But that's another conversation for another day. We're here to talk about the Raiders QB situation. But wish list number 2 on the wish list is getting a key number 1 wide receiver. Yeah. Because the Raiders have had trouble trying. Well, the Raiders really haven't had trouble with receivers. The Raiders have had a history of having good receivers. The Raiders have been known as a team that drafts good wide receivers, that drafts reliable wide receivers. Example, a few years ago, they drafted Henry Ruggs, even though he got arrested for a DUI and completely ruined his entire life by getting arrested for that DUI in Vegas back in 2021. Completely messed up his life. But even before he did that, he was still a reliable piece for the Raiders. He was still a good wide receiver for the Raiders. He was still a good wideout. And, so, yeah, man. He was still a really good, reliable guy for the Raiders, bro. Even before he unfortunately did everything that he did. But yeah, man. And then, yeah, man. But you got guys you can go out and get this season. Guys like T. Higgins, guys like Tyreek Hill. We are already rumored to possibly get Tyreek Hill. But T. Higgins is expected to be a free agent this offseason. Try and be aggressive this season, Raiders. The Raiders have some of the most cap space in the NFL heading into this offseason. Be aggressive. Be aggressive. Try and go out and get some wide receivers. Go out and get as many people as you can, bro. Be aggressive in free agency this year, Raiders, because you need it. You guys need to be aggressive this offseason. The Raiders have some of the most cap space in the NFL heading into this offseason. So the one thing the Raiders need to do is be aggressive this offseason in free agency, which leads to number 3 on the Raiders wish list, and this is the third and final thing for the Raiders wish list. Get a number 1 CB, and CB stands for cornerback, because my God, Jack Jones is an okay cornerback, but with Nate Hobbs getting injured the way that he's injured, you need a reliable cornerback, bro, because Jack Jones is not a number 1 corner. He's an okay corner. He could be good as a backup, but he's not a number 1 corner, because if he goes up against someone like Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, George Pickens, he's getting murdered in that aspect. So he's getting absolutely torched. So the last thing you want is for him to get as Raiders, bro. So if you're the Raiders, you probably, and to be honest, I don't really know if Jack Jones is even going to be a part of the Raiders in 2025. This is probably going to be a whole new revamped Raiders team in 2025. At least I'm hoping so. But I don't know. But hey, man, that's pretty much all I got to say for this video. Merry Christmas to everybody out there. I'll see you guys for the next video. I'll see you guys on Sunday for when the Raiders take on the Saints. Hopefully we lose. Hopefully we are not stupid and win 2 straight. Hopefully that doesn't happen. We'll see you guys on the next one, though, guys. Merry Christmas to everybody out there.